This is Times Drive and I'm Joel Pereira. Now if you look out of your window as you're driving, you're going to notice a lot of cars of different shapes and sizes, and they all seem to be serving a practical purpose. You've got the hatchbacks, cheap and economical, the saloons and sedans, larger and slightly more spacious. Then you've got your SUVs, transporting large groups of people and even larger egos. And then you have cars that are just pretty. And look at it, it's absolutely elegant. You've got the straight lines of a sophisticated sedan mated with a Mustang-style fastback roof that starts tapering straight out from the driver's head. Sure, that might mean fishbowl-sized windows and a scalp-scuffing roof for the guys in the rear seat, but then women don't suffer high heels for nothing. It's all about style, baby, and the A7's got plenty of it.
Listen.
Reincarnated into a raindrop of propaganda propagating love. I don't claim.
So the A7 dovetails in nicely between the A6 and the A8, and under the slick body shell there's a lot more that this car is sharing. The MLB platform, for instance. And then there's also the venerable Audi 3-litre V6 diesel engine that you'd find in pretty much every Audi out there, in different states of tune, of course. In fact, Audi's 3-litre diesel is world famous in India for its combination of performance and frugality. But with the A7, they've thrown the frugality part straight out the window. You've got 246 bhp of power and, more importantly, 500 Newton meters of pulsing torque. So you've got an overall mileage of just about 8 kilometers to a litre, but this is one of the most exciting Audis you could drive. Hit the gas hard and you're going to hear the roar of the V6 right through the twin pipes, even though this car is a diesel. From standstill, this car will blast to 100 in less than 7 seconds, and if you can find a road long enough, will hit the limited top speed of 250 before you can say, before you can pretty much say anything. Putting down the power to the road is a 7-speed transmission with the almost mandatory flappy paddle shifters. Considering this car is tuned for performance rather than mileage, shifting happens lightning fast at lower gears. If you do choose to forego the automatic and shift to manual mode, the tachometer jumps as rapidly as a petrol. And if you're on a twisty road requiring a lot of shifts, you're going to have your hands full really quickly. But then, since this is a high-end Audi, you can control everything, including suspension setup, throttle and steering response. So if you do choose to white-knuckle it, the A7 will go only as far as you want it to. Adding to the confidence is the superb handling. This might be a sportback, but it handles like a sports car. Mind you, this is a large automobile, but no matter how hard you hit a corner, there's almost no body roll, and the 500 Newton meters of torque transfers intuitively between the front and the rear wheels. Now, assuming so far that you've been driving with some vigor, when you do slow down in the city and change the suspension to the comfort mode, the A7 will absorb most of what our roads have in store for them. Now, ground clearance is a bit of a concern, but if you're driving in the city, you could raise the suspension manually, and that should get you over most speed breakers and the oddly angled ramp. What you will have to get used to, though, is the very low driving position, and since the roofline slopes down quite sharply, you're not going to be able to raise the seat all that much. Segues nicely into the creature comforts that you're going to get if you do go out and buy the A7. You might think that space would be a bit limited considering this is a sportsback, but then you'd be wrong. Since this car shares a platform with the A8, you've got plenty of room both in the front and the rear, though the low roof does cut out on headroom. If you do get this car and then have a chauffeur, we have only one thing to say to you. Get an A6 or fire the driver. Wait, actually that's two things. Like any car of this kind, getting into the front seat is a bit like stepping into the cockpit of a fighter jet if every surface of that cockpit was covered with creamy hand-stitched leather. So you've got the pop-out multimedia interface, a night vision camera that detects pedestrians, and enough buttons and dials and touchpads to keep you occupied. And that's even before you've even turned this car on. With, of course, another button. Just keep on flying. Drive the A7 around town and this car will make you a star. People will turn and look in amazement, mostly because for folks who've never seen a Sportback before, the A7 will look like a very large, very pretty hatch for the well-off. Because rich you're going to have to be if you want to buy one. Prices begin at 64 lakh rupees, putting it right between the smaller A6 and the larger A8. People spending upwards of 60 lakhs to buy a car tend to be part of a very small group. And even in this little group, the A7 does stand out. From Karan Chandok's debut race in the 2011 F1 season to the brand new Maruti Suzuki Swift, here's all the news from Planet Auto.
It hasn't been a very good season for the homegrown F1 driver Karan Chandok, but things are starting to look slightly better. After being sidelined for the first 10 races of 2011 season, Karan will be at the starting grid in his Lotus for this weekend's German Grand Prix. Chandok will replace veteran Jarno Trulli at the Nürburgring, but only for 1 week.
Well, first of all, very excited, very happy to be back racing in Formula One. It's all been a bit of a crazy day today. I've been in the middle of meetings after meeting with the engineers and trying to learn as much as possible in a short space of time. At the moment it's just a one-off weekend, and then we'll reevaluate and see if we can do some more races before the end of the year. So it's all about learning and to sort of allow the team to get to know me a bit better, because we've never worked together on a race weekend. Every driver, every time you get in the car, you put yourself in the shopping window.
It might be just one race, but still, Karan, all the best. It's here. 5 years after the Swift changed the way the Indian consumer looked at premium hatches, the lumbering beast that is Suzuki is ready with the brand new 2011 Swift. Bookings have begun, along with newspaper teaser campaigns, and though on the first glance the new Swift might not look radically different, this is an all-new platform with radically changed interiors. Engines are also expected to get a boost. The tentative launch date is the 17th of August, and as soon as we know more, so will you.